So it's Sunday morning, time for another Wardy's Waffle Farm update. Just before I get into what we've got going in this update, I just wanted to go back to my last video on last week on Wednesday night when we was covering the NFU conference, and where I looked at put most of Steve Reed's talk into the video. If you remember, he also announced quite a few things that they were going to do for farming. So just going to go through one or two of these quick. I'm not quite sure whether some of these were missed. They're going to extend the seasonal worker visa route, and this is obviously to help with the picking the vegetables and that sort of thing, where we get foreign workers come in from abroad to help. They're going to extend that for 5 years. They are going to bring back the Farming Equipment Technology Fund, and now that's the fund where I purchased that weaving direct drill only a few months ago or last year, and that's the fund that came out of. So they're launching that 110 million investment into innovation, equipment and technology. So that's one thing which will be really useful if they do that. They're going to protect, it says here, protecting farmers in trade deals. Now that's going to be really fascinating. It says the government will uphold and protect our high environmental and animal welfare standards in future deals. Well, we've heard that before, and that doesn't materialise, so that's another thing to keep your eye on. And it says strengthening Britain's biosecurity is another thing, where they're setting up a new national biosecurity centre to transform animal and plant health agency, investing 200 million to improve our resilience against animal disease and to protect farmers and food producers. Now that will be useful if that does materialise. Extending farming in protected landscape programmes for another year until March 2026 to continue support England's most precious areas of natural beauty. Another thing they said they'll do is they will fund vets visits through the animal health and welfare pathway. Well, that's already been going on for a while anyway, and that's where they cover the cost of vets coming into your business to check all your livestock and everything like that. But I'm not quite sure how successful that is. It might be good, I'm not too sure. And then also they are increasing higher level stewardship payments. So this is where you're doing sort of even more more diverse things for the environment and wildlife, and it's called HLS, high level stewardship payment, across a range of options. Capital grants are going to reopen. If you remember, they put on hold some of the capital grants that people applied for, and that anything that was applied for after June last year was put on hold. Well, that's now going to be go through apparently. Now, I'm not sure whether they're going to, it says all applications submitted before the pause will now be processed. So whether that means they're going to all be, they won't all be given, because some of them won't apply. Anyway, that's another thing. And then it says they're also continuing to roll out the new countryside stewardship higher tier scheme in a way that ensures land and land managers get the right application advice. And anyway, that's just a few of the things they said they're going to do, but they haven't said they're going to reverse the inheritance tax BPR APR situation. So we'll look at that. Anyway, this update for a start. When I was in London this last week, I got asked if I would like to go on with Nigel Farage on his show on GB News. Naturally, I said yes. They are fantastic supporters. So here is that clip with me on Nigel Farage's show last, I think Tuesday night it was. Really good interview, I felt, and gave plenty of time to talk and ask questions. It's about 7 minutes long, but I think Nigel's really good, and we've got some good points landed.
Well, a full studio here, and it was the National Farmers Union conference today. Well, unsurprisingly, NFU President Tom Bradshaw said what was happening with IHT, etc., was morally wrong and economically flawed. But Steve Reed, the Environment Minister, said the answer many of you want on inheritance tax is not going to be forthcoming. But it was David Passmore that probably made the news today by saying that many of the people caught up in the middle of this include people like my mother, who's 90, still an active farmer. The family have been farming for over 400 years continuously. She's been a widow for over 20 years. She's wishing her life away ahead of April next year. And I've heard that before, actually, myself. I'm joined by Andrew Ward, Lincolnshire farmer. What was the atmosphere like?
Very interesting, Nigel. We all sat and listened, and of course we heard everything we want to hear, but then as Mr. Reed's boss said 2 or 3 years ago, everything he said that we wanted to hear then, nothing's come to fruition. It's all been a bunch of lies. So are we hearing the same thing?
How angry Is the farming genuinely angry? Is the farming community? Or is it just one of those things in the end you shrug your shoulders? Or does this protest movement continue in your view?
It absolutely continues, and we've got spring coming up now, lambing's going on, we've got spring crops to put in the ground soon, so we are going to have to get those in, because this is the problem we've got. We don't want to have to be in London all the time protesting. We have a business to run, we have a nation to feed. But at the same time, we have to secure the future of our farms and the industry. And so we'll plant those crops, we'll lamb those sheep, and we'll do what we have to do, but then we'll be back, and we'll be back stronger.
I've always thought there's half a chance of some success with this, because there's nearly 100 seats that Labour won in areas they never have contemplated winning before. They're going to lose all these seats unless they make some concessions.
They will, you're quite right, but at the minute they are standing firm. But we are also standing firm, and what they don't seem to realise is that farming is, we are used to dealing with problems. We are used to dealing with the weather, which is a huge issue. The Labour government are only used to dealing with an issue that's come very short term, and we're in this for the long game, and we will keep going.
But you haven't behaved like the French. You know, when the French smallholders protest, you know, they sort of block roads and spread manure everywhere. And it's quite interesting. I mean, the last time there was the big French farmers' protest, all the 8 major roads into Paris were completely blocked. Macron panicked, came back from Brussels with a concession. But you're not going to behave like that, are you?
We haven't done up to now. No, we've been very British. We have been told, get your muck spreaders into Downing Street, show them you mean business. But at the minute, we are playing nicely in playground terms. But we won't play nicely, and we cannot keep doing this. There will be a time when we have to say, now, hang on, enough's enough. And the problem we've got at the minute is the government don't understand agriculture. They don't understand what it costs to put food on a plate. And expecting us to pay this family farm tax, inheritance tax, business property relief, all the extra things that they're expecting us to pay, we just cannot afford to do that. There isn't the money in the industry to do that. And on Tuesday, we've got a rally in London on Pancake Day, where we're looking at the value of what it costs to put a 10-inch pancake on a plate. And it's millions and millions of pounds in capital investment to do that.
I mean, Joe, you come from a farming background. Do you sympathise?
Absolutely. I mean, spent the weekend while he was hobnobbing in America. I was getting sheep ready for lambing. You know, it's bloody hard work. And the point you absolutely make is you have got to decide what you're going to plant or when you're going to send the ram in, not waiting on the whims of a politician. You've got to decide years or months in advance. And I think the French and British thing is we need to have a better relationship with food. If we cared about the food on our plates as much as the French did, and we put that into the public domain and the public understood, you know, why have we got an obesity crisis? Because people are eating rubbish. They don't need to. They can eat good quality British food, and that's the campaign that the government ought to be supporting, as well as raising the threshold.
Emma, it was interesting. You know, the point that being made there by Andrew, that they've been very British so far, but actually to keep the public on their side, they're going to have to stay that way, aren't they, really?
I mean, I think that the public should be with them all the way, because this is not just about the farmers, this is about the country at large. So I think there would be some people who would be quite happy to see the farmers spreading manure over Parliament Square. But I mean,
oh dear.
I think, as you said, you know, the government fundamentally don't understand farming, and something has got to sort of knock their heads together and make them understand that they need to listen to the farming community, because they're just not getting it.
But it isn't just farming, is it? It's, I mean, you know, shotgun licence renewals are now being made a nightmare, terribly expensive, and trail hunting, which frankly is a very innocent activity, under threat as well. All I can tell you, Andrew, and thank you for coming on, is terrific support from viewers of this programme, and indeed of this channel, for the plight of family farms, and we will keep highlighting your cases.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for your support, because it is huge, and we really, really do value that, because we're up against it. But we've got, just announced today, we've got an extra budget for the arms and for the safety of the UK, haven't we? They've just announced that. But you can't send an army to war on an empty stomach.
No, it's a very fair point.
And if you lose farms, you won't get them back.
No, they'll be full of houses, or maybe solar farms.
Oh, stop it.
Jacob's all in favour of solar, of course.
Of course. I am going to be talking about that later.
Well, there you are. Jacob, almost being praiseworthy of the Prime Minister. I think, on that note, I better go and have a pint, really. It's all too much. Coming up next with him, State of the Nation. First, though, let's have a look at the all-important weather, especially for the farmers.
And I must admit, GB News are fantastic at supporting us and our cause. Absolutely unbelievable. And we've got direct links into right into there, which is fantastic. So thank you everybody at GB News if you're watching this. Also, in this, just mentioning GB News, but this coming Tuesday, Pancake Day, we've got our pancake rally in London where we're highlighting the cost of machinery needed and the capital investment needed to put food on people's plates. That's this Tuesday in London, so please get into London if you can. It's 12 till 3 o'clock. We've got sugar beet harvester there, we've got forage harvester, we've got combine harvester, sugar beet drill, forklifts, lots of machinery in there that puts a pancake on a plate because it's massive the amount of investment needed. And with regard for that, Jack Carson from GB News, a reporter from the West Midlands, came over this week. We were lifting the last of our sugar beet, which is in this clip, and Jack Carson came over and recorded some footage for a news bulletin that's gone out. Now, that is actually featured at the very, very end of this update. That went out this morning on one of their news bulletins, and so I think Jack's done a fantastic job editing that and putting it together and bringing some clips in across from Steve Reed in the conference. So really, really good that how Jack's edited that, and a good 2.5 minute slot, and that's right at the very end of this update. Also in this update, we are looking for a water pipe. When we last had the cereals event up on the Heath, which I'll get more into that maybe in a week's time, when we last had the cereals event up there, we tapped into a big main pipe down the roadside to bring water into the site, and we're trying to find that, but I thought I'd marked it, but I can't find the post or anything in the hedge bottom where I marked this pipe that came off this main. So we're taking a look at trying to find that. Also, we've got oilseed rape still going out to store at the minute. Got a lot going out this next week. And we moved some soil onto the poultry farm, and I did think that I'd put that 2 weeks ago, or a week ago rather, in the clip, but it would have made it too long and I forgot to add it in. So we've got that also this time. And also, what else we've got? Oh, we're lifting the sugar beet. Yes, we're harvesting the last of our sugar beet up on the Heath, and that's about 25 acres we lifted this week. So that's great to get that up. Some of that field needs putting into the cereals event car park, which we'll be doing as soon as we can, really. And I say at the very end, there's Jack Carson's piece from GB News all about the sugar beet and sort of the importance of machinery, and just highlighting how much investment's needed to put food on plates. Anyway, that's it now for the intro. Thanks ever so much for watching, and let's crack into this update and we'll see you at the end. Just trying to find the mains water pipe. Now, we've got some covers just here and there, but it's not in the right place, I don't think. We're just trying to find the water pipe that we had when we had the event last in 08 to get water from here. There's an 8-inch main goes underneath here and then feeds Leadham Reservoir. You can see we've got some manhole covers there feeding an air valve. Well, that's the sign to show there's an air valve here. Anyway, we'll have a look up this roadside. So that's where we've got the valve there. There's an 8-inch main, goes under this roadside all the way up there, and it feeds Leadham Reservoir behind me. So it's a huge main pipe. Anyway, I've got Barry behind me. Barry's come to have a look, and Barry does all our diking work for the regular viewers of the channel. And Barry used to work for Anglian Water, so he knows quite a bit about what water pipes and stopcocks and valves and air valves and all sorts. And he's got the tools as well to get the covers up. So we're going to go a bit further up now, where I think the connection was made in 2008. So we've got a bit of blue water pipe here, and that's come from the field because we were fetching this up for a few years after the event because the water pipe's buried all over the field. So there was a gap here, so we're just going to have a proper look here. See, Barry's got his dividing rods, seeing whether it's working. Because with the main pipe running down here, there'll be a tee out somewhere to go to the edge of the field, but we're not finding it yet. They're just lifting one of the panels out as well. This is one of the other sheds we've got oilseed rape in. You saw the other shed in the video in midweek. So this is round the corner. Actually, the shed that you saw them loading in is just literally over that wall there. So they managed to get enough rape out here to get the panels out. And then We'll get another load or two out here. It'll need a bit more though, because obviously with it being wet now, we'll leave it until it's a drier day to empty this shed a bit more. But we'll need to get some more rape out there and some more out that side before we take this panel out, otherwise it'll all run out here over the wet. But so we'll need to do it when it's dry. Tom's just loading up the soil to go to the poultry unit. Quite a nice topsoil this. This is from when we enlarged the pond near the house in the yard last year. I thought there'd be about 4 or 5 loads here. I think there might be more than that. Decent topsoil here. Yesterday, thought I'd better wash the cat's towels. When I say the cat's towels, where the cats sort of sleep at night, where we feed them in the shed here next to the yard. The yard's just through there, and the office is here. And so the cats spend a fair bit of time around here. Anyway, we've got a washing machine in the staff room for washing overalls and dogs' towels and things. So I wash these cats' towels, and this is their little house. And now these are the 3 cats that we brought down from the other farm when we moved here to this new house when we got this built. So we moved here November 23, I think it was. So we've been down here just over a year. And I used to live here when I was married years ago, and when I had children with Sam and my other daughter Philippa, and we lived down here. And then I've been up at the Heath for about 18 years, up at the other farm where we've got the Seals event, and then moved down here, as I say, November 23. Anyway, I'll put the cat's towels in here, and you'll just see where the cats are there. So I don't think I think Archie was the only one in here. I had this mesh door put in when we sort of shut them up, and it just so we could leave the door open so they could see out, because we shut them up for about a month when we brought them down here, because the cats are about probably 5-6 years old. Anyway, this is the sofa they have, so I'll just put these towels back here, and then this is where I feed them as well. Nice shed, just keeps them warm and dry in the winter time when the weather's not very good. Go, that's all nice and warm, clean for them as well. And then this old shed, we need to get this taken down sometime, because it is falling down, as you can see. It's okay just to keep a few things in. That's the old garage at the back there, so need to get that taken down sometime. Here's Archie. Big cat he is. All 3 cats we've got are brothers and sisters. We've got 2 boys and a girl, and Missy the girl is asleep in the office at the minute. So it's Wednesday lunchtime. You can see we've got another heap of sugar beet behind me. Ruben's on the Manitou pushing up. We are lifting the last of our sugar beet at the moment today, and I've got GB News just getting his camera set up. I've got the Polaris here as well. We're going to go out in the field and get some film of the sugar beet harvester actually working, and this is in readiness for next week's pancake day, where we're looking at the cost of producing a pancake. And a lot of people have sugar on pancakes, so of course this is where that sugar comes from. So we're just going to highlight the importance of growing sugar beet for producing English sugar, which comes in a silver spoon bag. So you can see here behind me, we've got a heap of sugar beet, and Ruben's just pushing up. So we'll go and have a look in the field now at the sugar beet harvester actually working. Back here, ready to get some footage. He's going to go in the back as well in a minute. But we've got the trailer is just at the end here, and then the harvester is just there. Jack's just gone in the cab now, just have a look at the machine and try and get some filming from the cab, which would be good. There's another load of beet now back to the yard. See, Ruben's got a good heap pushed up there. Look at all the seagulls after the worms. Shows there's plenty of organic matter in the soil when you see a lot of seagulls. Got another trailer coming alongside now, empty him again. We've had some rain this morning, which hasn't helped. So yes, it started off bright this morning for about an hour, and then the rain set in, and it's yes, it's on light land. When I say light land, I mean there's a lot of sand content to it, not a lot of clay soil, not a lot of sticky clay soil. But even so, when you're lifting in the rain, it doesn't really help much, and there's quite a lot of soil dropping off the elevator. So you can see the soil dropping off there underneath that chain that's going round. It just shows how much soil is in the sugar beet. So yes, it wants leaving in the field, and no, that trailer's full now. So the heap in the yard we'll put through a cleaner loader and load in the lorries, and then that's why we always have a heap of soil in the yard, and then we spread that back on the field. So this is the second to last load. Just see through there. That's the field finished, and that's all the beet lifting finished for us for this season, this year. So this trailer will hold about 18 tons of beet. We have got in here, this field, a disease, what we call violet root rot, and this is where you can get it if you grow sugar beet in sort of too often. We're 1 year in 4 here, and I'll just show you, and it is the roots go sort of a purpley violet colour. You can see there's one. You can see there. I'll look at this in a bit more detail a bit later in the clip. So Jack's busy setting up now for showing the sugar, because we have roughly 6 roots of sugar beet make 1 bag of sugar, and it's silver spoon, don't forget, not Tate and Line is what we're after. And there's the beet harvester across the other side of the field. It's now finished, they're just cleaning it down. Trailers are finished as well, and we'll just show you here. Look at this. This is the problem, even on light land, when you're coming in one small area of the gateway, how wet it is just here and rutted, and just look at this. There is a water pipe runs down this side of this yard, but I hope it's all right. But just look at this lot. We've got to wait for this to dry, and then we'll drag it and level it out. But just, this is what happens with sugar beet when it rained, and the rain this morning didn't help things at all. I just mentioned a minute ago about violet root rot. There we go. You can see now it's sort of black. At the bottom it's not, but the top is. So, and in the heap, we've got quite a few in the heap as well. You can't see them here, you get close to. So I'm just going to cut that in half. Jack's just going to film them, and then we'll see what it's like in the middle, because you'll see it's not white. We're going to cut this in half now, and you'll see it won't be white. There'll be some rings of purple inside it. So let's see if we can... Right, are you all right, Jack? Have you got... We'll go... So, there, can you see on the edge there, let's get the light here, look at that. all that is purple. It's nearly rotten. There, look in here, and that's what you get. And it's here, look on the edge, can you see there how it's gone into the beet here and here, and so it's taken away valuable sugar space. And look here how it's crept into there, and that's this disease, violet root rot. And this is what happens, that it takes away the sugar. We get paid on sugar, not the actual weight of the beet itself. It's a sugar content, and the content of that sugar beet won't have as much sugar in it as, say, a normal sugar beet that hasn't got that. But that is the damage you get when you can grow beet in too close a rotation. We're 1 in 4 years, and we maybe should be a bit opening it up for 1 in 6, but we haven't got enough acres of land to do that. Tom's just washing the trailer for moving all the beet soil. Doesn't take long to get it lathered up this time of year. Really good trailer for stone and soil, anything like that. Only got it about 18 months ago, I think it was. Was it? Maybe, yeah, about then. Meant to hold, I think, 17 tons. Really good trailer. Looking better. This tractor, still haven't decided what we're doing with the 2 tractors yet. This is a template. This is 15 years old, this one. It's Wednesday morning and lovely bright start to the day. And typical, yesterday we were harvesting sugar beet that you've just seen, and wet, and not a lot of soil gone in a heap, I think, but we'll just have to leave it there probably 10 days at least to dry in the heap. It will dry because the sugar beet is heaped up quite high, so it'll generate a bit of heat which will help dry the soil that's around the beet in the heap. Anyway, just coming out, and I've just noticed a crack in my windscreen, and I did hear a stone hit the screen maybe last week, but didn't realise or thought it was okay. But I've just spotted now a crack coming down, so I'm going to get a marker pen and just mark it and just see if it's moving, but I think it probably is. So there is the crack coming down from behind the mirror there. I'll just put a mark on it and just see if it moves at all. There, let's put a mark on it just there with a black marker pen. I'll see next day or so whether it moves.
Rooted in history, the UK sugar beet industry is over 100 years old. Today, more than 2,000 farmers grow 8 million tonnes of the crop a year. With the majority of Brits set to sprinkle some sweetness on their pancakes this Tuesday, farmers will take to Whitehall in a pancake rally. They hope to show the government and the public exactly what it takes to make one. Andrew Ward farms sugar beet in Lincolnshire and is one of the rally's organisers.
So we have 6 sugar beet roots here, and that's roughly what it takes to make 1 bag of sugar. Now, it's silver spoon sugar is the sugar that's made from British sugar. Now, it might look like it's a lot of soil and where do you get your sugar from, but when you actually open one up and cut it in half, that, when it's processed, is where the sugar comes from. And if you were to bite that, which I will, that is like eating a teaspoonful of sugar. It is that sweet.
As Andrew heads out into the field checking on the harvest, the capital needed is in full view. A harvester like this costs upwards of £600,000. The demonstration set to descend on Westminster continues the farmers' campaign to see changes to inheritance tax reversed. At the National Farmers Union conference this week, Environment Secretary Steve Reed apologised for the introduction of the tax to ensure financial stability in the economy.
I can't give the answer I know many of you want on inheritance tax, but I want you to know that I understand the strength of feeling in the room and in the sector. We can see an example of that right in front of me now. And I am sorry it's a decision that we've had to take.
But with still no sign of change, Andrew says they could have no choice but to switch tactics.
All the protests we've done up to now and everything we've done around the country has been done the British way, if you like, and we're not French. We don't want to spread muck at 10 Downing Street, but at the same time, if what we're doing doesn't work, we will have to step this up and we will have to change direction.
Farmers are trying to keep their relationship with the government sweet, but with pressure piling up, is it only a matter of time before it all comes tumbling down? Jack Carson, GB News, Lincolnshire.
So I've just come in the office to edit the video. It's Saturday night, it's dark outside, you can see. Archie's come in to say hello, and Buster has, you haven't seen him yet. Both males, both boys those cats are, and you can see Nala gets on really well with them. So there you go, see the cats are just coming to say hello. That's it for the end of this update. I hope you've enjoyed it, and the clips as well from GB News. As you can see, they really are very supportive, so thank you everybody at GB News if you're watching that. Anyway, that's it for this update. Hopefully see you Tuesday in London for the last of our rallies. As I said in that clip you just seen, we are going to have to change direction to do something completely different, which we will do when we've all got lambing finished and drilling done. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you midweek.